two researchers come up for index with a framework called value disciplines. And if you look first at the descriptive quality, the modeling choice they make, the first statement is any industry can be attractive and many competitors can succeed. Oh, it feels so lovely after, Porter's, some industries are horrible. Chan Kim, you've got to listen to the customers. Here it's, anyone can succeed. Now, some of you will find it hopelessly wishy-washy. Others might say, oh, that resonates a bit more with my view of the world. And the reason, how can anyone succeed? Well, what Tracy and Viersma suggest is that in any industries, there's actually three races going on at once. A race for product leadership, a race for operational excellence, and a race for customer intimacy. Now, if you stop there, again, like every theory, the descriptive quality is still a beautiful way to think about a problem. Okay, so think about the industry you operate in, and can you think, now if I plot the various competitors on that framework, can I see some people who are indeed, adding features, investing a lot, etc., coming up with a newer product all the time? Can I think of people who are getting better at, focusing on internal operations, etc., getting it cheaper and leaner? And on the other end, people who might be either nicer or with more variety, etc., going for the customer intimacy. It's quite an intuitive framework when you know about it. You can step back and look at pretty much any industry and realize that there's at least players going on two of the routes, if not all three. Okay. The second, the prescriptions that index makes now come in two shapes. The first one is to win in that particular industry. Everyone can succeed, but to be a real winner, you've got to pick one of the races. And the notion that everyone can succeed comes from the fact that lots of companies kind of follow a mixture of these three. If you want to succeed truly, you've got to pick one. So whatever it is, product leadership, operational excellence, customer intimacy, pick one and drive it. And what you have to do is be the best in your industry on that dimension of value while staying sort of average in the other two. So as a rule of thumb, every time you have $100 to invest 60 of that in the race that's yours, that's the one that defines you, and then invest 20 in the other two because your competitors are, increasing the threshold of what constitutes acceptable delivery to customers in all three of these, in the other two dimensions, sorry. The next prescription is the most important one, and it's the one that really opens up that whole new family of leverage resources. And the prescription goes as follows. Each value discipline is underpinned by an internally consistent operating model that you have to adhere to and improve on year after year. Now, without further ado, allow me to invite you to turn to the next slide, and let's have a look at these three operating models. Okay, now what you have is operational excellence, product leadership, customer intimacy. If you read all, I'm going to leave you a few seconds to read that, and if I may invite you to, whilst you read, also read obviously vertically, but a bit sideways, because you'll notice the first bullet point in every column is the word process, process, process. In the second column, you've got structure, structure, structure. So why don't I let you read, and I'll come back to you in like 10 seconds. Okay, now when you read all these, can you see how it really crystallizes the choices you have to make? And some of you may remember I used the example or the analogy of chakra. This is really the first theory of the chakra family, of the leverage resources family. It comes from the inside. It's the choices you make about the way you organize yourself that influence the outcome you're going to experience in all sorts of industries. Now, if you look at this, you could probably spot how you can't really win all three races because you have trade-offs, you have choices that are mutually exclusive. And I would contend that the one that you generally can't have three of is culture. And in our blackboard of theories, what I'd suggest to you is that value disciplines is really about culture and capabilities. So the culture you choose for yourself and the way in which it influences the capabilities that you bring out to the world.